2 awful defeats in the league mean that we've now got no hope at all of winning that. So just like last year, it all comes down to the Europa League, and we must win today's game. Hello and welcome to Club 6, Part 18 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are away against Lyon in the second leg of the quarter-final, I think it is, of the Europa League. And then we're going to play... I mean, it doesn't really matter, Man City or Chelsea. We might just do Man City, because assuming we beat Lyon, which we should, because we're 3-0 up from the first leg, I think we could probably do Chelsea and then one of the semi-final ties in the next episode. Maybe. There's no real benefit to us playing Chelsea now because we lost against both Southampton and West Ham, which means the league table looks like this. With only 5 games of the season left, we're now 11 points behind Chelsea. They still have a game in hand. Man United are actually 6 points ahead of us as well. We're still 6 points ahead of Southampton, luckily. So we should, unless something goes spectacularly wrong, be playing Champions League football next season. But any hope of winning the league disappeared with those 2 pitiful defeats. And looking at how the Premier League has gone over the last 10 seasons, it wouldn't at all surprise me to see United close Chelsea down now and win the league. We'll probably beat Chelsea to help them do it as well, which will be even more frustrating. But focus is on the Europa League, as previously said, and we've had a bit of an injury crisis when it comes to attacking players. And this is part of the reason why it's all gone a little bit wrong. So we've got Merson, Pingu and Salcedo all injured. DVD recovering from injury. Nelson was injured. Dolberg was injured. We're really struggling to get some attacking players out on the pitch. We have assembled a front 4 today, but Hutchings, Roberts and Correa haven't really played this. Well, none of them have played in the second half of the season, really. Roberts and Hutchings have barely played all season long. So it's a bit of a makeshift front 4, which hopefully is all we need to get past the Lyon team we're already 3-0 up against from the first leg. So we've got Weiss in goal, a back 4, Felipe, Vitali, Alex and Suma. Vitali, by the way, has now made his debut for Germany, which I thought was an interesting one. He was Argentinian, born in Argentina, went to play for Schalke when he was fairly young. So he's still quite young now, so he's 25 now. So that was, 6 years ago. So as a teenager, went to play for Schalke. Somehow, in amongst all this time, Argentina never called him up. So he's now a German international. So he now becomes a German centre-back for us, which ruins our South American back 4. In fact, Suma probably isn't South American, but when Jamie plays, he is. Yeah, Suma's French. Midfield of Leshy and Davidson, with the previously mentioned front 4 of Dolberg, Correa, Roberts and Hutchings. Very Makeshift, but hopefully it'll be enough to get the job done. Suma also hasn't played much in the way of football this season, mainly because of the emergence of both Vitali and Jamie. Jamie will often play when we have to put Felipe out at left back because Martelot's not able to play in the Europa League. But normally when Martelot's in the league, Felipe moves across alongside Vitali and Alex goes out to right back. So we've got both Vitali and Alex capable of playing at full back just as naturally as they can at centre back. One could argue we've got a perfect back 3 there with the 3 of them. If we could get a couple of decent wing backs in, we could do a back 3 kind of system. But I think after 2 seasons of building this 4-2-3-1 at Arsenal, I think it would be mad to switch to a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 or something like that at this stage. Or is it mad? Let me know down in the comments. We do seem to have stumbled across a really top quality back 3 if we decide to use it, with 2 centre backs who can drift out and cover in behind wing backs if need be. So it's pretty much perfectly balanced. Half an hour in, it's still 0-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. What we'd really like to do before half-time is just nick an away goal. They obviously came away from our place with 0 goals of their own, so if we can grab an away goal before they even score, that pretty much kills the tie off there and then, I think. Especially if we can do that before half-time. We'd be 4 goals up with the away goal with only half a match left. I think at that point, surely they just give up and let us take our spot in the semi-final. Roberts looked like he was fouled, but apparently not. The referee, I think I saw him waving play on, or certainly waving his arms around for something. But Lyon break down the right-hand side. It's a great save at the first attempt from Weiss, but he can only palm it into the path of the on-rushing Lyon forward. And the ideal scenario has actually gone the other way. Lyon grab a goal just before half-time. There's now only 2 goals in it. We haven't got an away goal yet. So we're still in control, but nowhere close to as commanding a position as I was hoping we'd find ourselves in. And I mean, an equaliser now would be really handy. We've got 2 minutes to grab an equaliser just before half-time. Alex plays it into Lollujo, who's dropped very, very deep to try and make something happen. He plays it forward towards Dolberg, who can't get there. Hutchings also can't get there. The front four look like they've never played together, possibly because this combination of 4 might genuinely have never played together before. Suma to Lollujo. Lollujo's covering a lot of ground for us today. Plays it forward to Correa again, but that's a terrible pass. Hutchings wasn't even looking in the right direction. I really am starting to feel like that's problematic. 2-0 just before half time. This is far from over, boys and girls. We could find ourselves season ending right now if this continues to go the way it's going. And with that front four, I don't really know what we've got to get back into the game. Correa, we turned down £25 million for him in January and have barely played him since because Tommy Merson exploded back onto the team again. Kind of wish we'd cashed in and just bought something different with the money because he seems to have gone off the boil a little bit now. I don't think we're going to be fielding £25 million offers for him in the summer, whereas that first half of the season he was on fire, but had started to go off the boil a little bit even when we turned down the offer. But I just looked at, he was our top rated player at the time. He probably still is for average rating. He'll be our top rated player of the season, but he's only played in less than half the games because the last 2 or 3 of them he was a bit iffy, and every time I've looked at him since he's still been a little bit iffy. Right, Lollujo out to Dolberg. Hutchings is in here. Surely he'll score. He doesn't. Pingu would have done. Dolberg would have done. But again, the injuries are catching up with us at this point, and I really, really don't like the way this tie is going. Aberdeen are beating Leicester currently, so our dream final might be taken away from us, even if we do manage to hold on, because Leicester seem to not be keeping their part of the bargain together. But then, I guess right now, neither are we. And I am thinking, what can we do to try and turn this game around? Correa into Hutchings, who does score this time. There's the all-important away goal, and that, hopefully, is that. It's 4-2 on aggregate. 2-1 on the night to Lyon, but 4-2 on aggregate overall to us, and we've got the bonus of that away goal. So with 25 minutes to go, Lyon need to score 3 times to knock us out of this tournament. And if they beat us 5-1, we absolutely deserve to be knocked out, because that's just pathetic. We can't blame our strikers if we concede 5 goals. Right, Alex is not having a very good game at all. But we don't. I could bring Sarr on and stick Sarr out at left back and do this, because Alex isn't playing very well. Dolberg, I know, is nursing an injury, but it's a big risk to take Dolberg off at the moment. Reiss Nelson is sat there recovering from an injury. You know what? I am going to make that change. Dolberg off, Nelson on. One injured player for another. And Reiss Nelson has been in amazing form in the second half of this season, and clearly really, really wants to win a trophy this season. Another one, because we've already got the big one, of course. So hopefully he turns in another spectacular performance. I mean, the stats suggest it's been a fairly even game. Lyon edging it a little bit, but we've been even for clear-cut chances. We've had the same amount of shots on target. They've done a lot of shooting that hasn't been very effective. And there is the man, Reiss Nelson. It's now 2-2 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate. And I think we are now safely through into the semi-final of the Europa League. Now I kind of just want Leicester to do their bit, because I still really like the romance of an Arsenal-Leicester final. It's a sort of thing that doesn't happen very often in these saves. If we get 2 of our previous teams, or our current team and our previous team, duking it out. It looks like Gasperetti has equalised for Leicester as well. I think it was 3-3 in that game after the first leg. So as it stands right now, I think Leicester are ahead on away goals. We're going to bring Jamie on for Suma. just for energy down that side more than anything. Jamie's another one who has been injured, which is why Suma's in today. But Jamie's pretty much back to full fitness at this point, I think. I probably could have checked that before bringing him on, but I assume he is. Nelson in behind, squares it, and Hutchings can't quite get there ahead of the Lyon keeper, but it doesn't really matter at this point. At this point, the focus is purely on not messing up. If we can avoid conceding 4 goals in 10 minutes, we're into the semi-final. And I think even we're capable of avoiding that, surely. Correa now into Hutchings, who had quite a bit to do there, but did keep hold of it. Crosses to Roberts, who brings it down beautifully and plays it back to Davidson. And Davidson, I mean, he's denied by an absolute world-class save. We've had 4 clear-cut chances now in this game. And at this point, we do seem to be all over him. And we should probably be ahead on the night, not just in the tie as well. Davidson sort of dawdled on the ball for quite a long time there and ended up missing out, but Sarr is in to cover. I'd like a winner now, just a momentum winner. We've won the tie, but let's try and win the match as well, just to keep that confidence going, show that we can go away to somewhere like Lyon and pick up a win. Jamie into Vitali. To Leshy, look at this, just knocking the ball around now. We're not going to let you have a kick now, Lyon. Beautiful ball forward from Davidson. He didn't faff around with it that time. Played Nelson in brilliantly. And Reece Nelson, you would have expected him to do a little bit better based on the form that he's been in this season. But we win the corner. Roberts to take. And it's just wide from Felipe. And that might well be our last proper chance of the game. There's 3 minutes of added time. We have another corner with 2 minutes to go, but it's headed clear. Davidson picks up on the edge of the area. Back out to Nelson, who sort of skips over the ball, squares it to Davidson. Correa's there and should have scored. 5 clear-cut chances in this game now. We've only scored twice. That you can blame on the fact that we had the makeshift front 4 out there the whole time. The rest of the team is still creating the chances, but the 4 of these together just are not a coherent attacking unit and are missing an awful lot of chances that we're not going to be able to afford to do if we have to play somebody who's any good in the next round of this. And obviously we've got Man City and Chelsea coming up in the league as well. And although it looks like we should be secure for a spot in the Champions League, we lose both of them and we might be in trouble. I can't do a 3rd year in a row of the Europa League. I don't think I've got it in me. If we don't get in the Champions League this season, I think I might just resign and accept that Arsenal was a bit of a disaster for us. But for now, we are into the semi-final of the Europa League, as are Leicester. And then we've got Benfica and Atletico still in there as well. So we really, really want that Arsenal-Leicester final. Fingers crossed, here comes the draw. Here we go then. So, Benfica up first. Benfica are the team I want now. I want Leicester to then knock out Atletico and us to face Leicester in the final. The one team I want to avoid is Atletico at this stage because that feels like a game we'd probably lose, especially while we don't have all our attackers in place. So, we want Arsenal here. Arsenal. Yeah. I mean, at least the Arsenal-Leicester final is still a possibility, but we have got to get there the hard way. It's going to be us against Atletico Madrid, and that game is going to be, I mean, I think we probably will do it as part of the next episode. So we'll do Man City now on this episode, and then Chelsea and first leg of Atletico on the next one, and then second leg of Atletico and Palace. Probably, I doubt we'll show the Liverpool game because the league, unless the league suddenly gets spicy and interesting, we don't need to show too many more league games, I don't think. Sound good? As some players have started to drift back towards fitness, we're starting to assemble what looks like a more useful front 4 now. Nelson comes back in on the left-hand side. Dolberg moves up front. Hutchings dropping down to the bench. We're also able to bring Martelot back into the team and do that whole shifting the defence over one thing that I was talking about before. Does mean we've got 2 right-backs on the bench because we haven't really got any other defenders, but that sounds like a problem for future, Kev, if there's any injuries in this game. So, away against Manchester City. I think we're away. We're at home against Manchester City. Should I have... I think I've put it on standard because I thought we were away. I mean, I didn't read any of that. I assume none of that was particularly important. I wonder I wonder if we should go on control and just try and win this game. City are having a terrible season. You can see that we actually have to scroll to find them, despite them being the only other team in the history of this save, other than Manchester United, to have won a Premier League, although that may well be about to change. Although United really are closing in on Chelsea with 4 games to go. They've got the gap down to 2, and we've still got to play Chelsea next game. And we could almost be handing the title to Manchester United, which I really don't feel good about. Nelson's in behind though, and that's a good save from the City keeper. And our first big chance of the game fell to Reiss Nelson, who has been in super duper form, but didn't quite have enough about him to force it past their keeper. To be fair, it was a very, very good save. Leshy in with another tackle. This might be one of the last times you see Leshy. There are reports in the media of Barcelona readying a £90 million bid for him. Let me know down in the comments how much I should accept for him, if I should sell him at all. I mean, a lot depends on whether we get into the Champions League. I assume we will, but if we lose this and then lose against Chelsea, Southampton are breathing down our necks. Wolves are still knocking around in the mix as well, and it does get a little bit going into the final 4 games if we lose this one today. But Correa picks the ball up there, finds Nelson. Nelson's in again, squares it to Dolberg this time, and Dolberg makes it 1-0 on 24 minutes. And that could end up being a very important goal, even when it comes to the possibility of keeping Leshy. So let's say we get into the Champions League. Do we sell him, or do we build a team around him? He's still very young. Is there a price we sell him for? The media are saying 90 million. I think my asking price I've put on him at the moment is 100 million. Do we sell him for 100 million? Can we replace him with 100 million? Do we look at what we've got at the club and say, well, actually, we've got Junior David, we've got Davidson, we have a real top quality midfield too already. Can we afford to sell him and reinvest that money in positions where we perhaps do need a little bit more strength? Fullbacks, for example. We don't go for the cliche, but genuinely this time our fullbacks are both a little bit rubbish. It's super fun having Alex and Felipe to push out to play at fullback most of the season, but they are centre backs, and we're playing them at fullback because we don't have anyone better than them. It's not because they're the best option there. So we could sell Leshy, bring in a 19-year-old replacement for him for 30 or 40 million, just find the best teenage central midfielder in the world for less than 40 million quid, and then spend 40 million apiece on 2 fullbacks. Does that strengthen the squad? I think it probably does, but is Leshy too important to let go on that basis? It's a tricky one. Or do I just say, yeah, you know what, 90 million off your pop, bye-bye now, and worry about it? I mean, it might even be taken out of my hands, especially if we don't qualify for the Champions League. I cannot keep him here for another year not playing in the Champions League. He's one of the best midfield players in the world, just reaching his prime. Can't really keep him outside of the Champions League. That's just going to lead to dynamics going through the floor. And City have their equaliser on 56 minutes. It's 1-1. That gap between us and Southampton, as it stands right now, is down to 4 points, and we've still got to play top of the table Chelsea away from home in our next game. We could go into our final 3 games of the season only 1 point clear of Southampton, and I think we play Liverpool on the last day, and Liverpool would probably delight in a last day victory that pushes them up into the Europa League and prevents us getting into the Champions League. So we need, bottom line, we need a goal. Martelot's picked up an injury, so I'm just going to bring Jamie on for him and just shift the whole defence over. We know how this goes. There you go. Shift you all over. And then I'm also... I haven't got anyone to bring on for Correa. Roberts can come off. DVD can come on. I mean, DVD's not fit, but he's such a quality player that even a not fully fit DVD might just be able to set up a chance for Dolberg, or even Pingu's sat there on the bench. Hutchings. Do I bring on Hutchings or Pingu? Dolberg isn't having the best of games. In fact, I'm going to take off Correa, drop Dolberg back, and I'm going to bring on Hutchings. I don't think Pingu's ready yet. He's still showing as injured. We're going to do this and hope that that's the dice roll that works. Should we go control? City have just brought Dybala on. We bring on Jake Hutchings, they bring on Dybala. How are they in 9th place in the league? And we're the ones who were challenging for the title up until a few games ago. 1-0 was not a disaster, but it's an awful long way from ideal. Let's just hope we beat Chelsea in the next episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.